What's up everybody, it's Ben, and today we're going to be breaking down how to get a good credit score at a young age. Many people believe the common misconception that it's extremely hard to get a good credit score when you're young, and that's just simply not true. So today, we're going to be breaking down some specific ways to make your credit score better if you're young or if you have a bad credit score. If you do enjoy the video, I would really appreciate it if you would leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new. It is 100% free to do, and you can always change your mind later. Now before we dive in how to improve your credit score, let's quickly go over what a credit score is and why it's extremely important to have a good one. So a credit score is basically just a number between 300 and 850, which tells creditors how likely you are to pay a loan back on time. Now it is essential for you to build good credit as soon as you possibly can, considering your credit score has a very large effect on how high your interest rate will be when taking out a loan on something like a car or a house. So as a young adult, you really need to start building your credit now. This way, when you're ready to settle down and buy a house, or really if you need any loan at all, you can get a much better interest rate than your friends who have a bad credit score. Additionally, if you eventually want to own a credit card that pays you cash back or gives you rewards when you use it, you really need a credit score that's at least in the mid 600s for them to even consider letting you open an account with them. This is why it's going to be so important for you to tune into the rest of this video, where you can learn to build your credit at even ages of 18, 19, or 20 years old. Now the first way to build your credit when you're young is to become an authorized user on someone you trust's credit card. Being an authorized user means you have been added on to somebody else's credit card account by its owner. This also means that you will likely receive a second version of this credit card in the mail with your own name on it. Now this is a wonderful way to begin building your credit, considering it's super easy to do and you'll likely be spending money anyways, so why not do it while also building your credit? However, it is really only best to have this financial relationship with a parent or a very close friend, considering the fact that if you don't make your payments on time, it could mess up their credit as well. This meaning it definitely has room to create strife within a relationship. So if you are going to do this, make sure you actually sit down with the person you're going to do it with and create a plan on what's going to be paid by who and when. On top of helping to build your credit, becoming an authorized user on a parent's credit card can also help to teach you how to be responsible using a credit card. Up until this time, you may have just used cash or a debit card to pay for things, and both of these are extremely different than using a credit card. And this is considering when you're using a credit card, you're actually taking out a loan or credit when you're purchasing items, and you actually have to pay that back at the end of each month or payment period. Whereas when you're using cash or a debit card, you're actually paying for the item immediately because it comes directly out of your bank account or the cash that you have. This meaning when you get your first credit card or become an authorized user on your parents' credit card, it's very easy to spend too much money without even realizing it and then not having enough money to foot the bill. Taking all of this into consideration, being an authorized user on someone's credit card who has good credit is a very good way for you too to also begin building good credit. And after doing just this, in a few years, you could have a credit score of over 700. Now a second way to start building up your credit is through a credit builder loan. You can find and take out these loans at many of your local banks or credit unions, and they're essentially made for people who are trying to build up their credit. Now these are very different from normal loans and are really meant for people with bad credit to start making good credit. So depending on your credit history, you may have to pay an upfront fee to take out one of these loans. Now generally speaking, with a regular loan, you get a lump sum of money to buy something like a car or a house, and then you end up paying that back later through a series of payments. However, with a credit builder loan, you will actually be paying money over time through a series of payments, and then you will get that money back at the end of the loan period. Now this is also good because this money that you will be paying will likely be stored in a savings account or a certificate deposit, meaning it may even be earning interest during this time period. Now if you keep up with this loan and don't have any other outstanding debt, it is reasonable to assume that you could even boost your credit score by around 60 points just from having one of these loans. And this is because the bank will actually be reporting your reliability to credit bureaus, which will help to boost your credit score. Considering the fact that generally speaking you get this money back after the loan period is over, I would personally just think about it as requiring myself to save this money throughout this time period. Now after you get this money back, it would be extremely important for you to do something smart with this money, like invest it, which would continue to grow your net worth in the future. So if you are interested in this option specifically, simply reach out to your local bank or credit union to see what they specifically offer and the terms of their loan. A third wonderful way to build your credit is through a secured credit card. Now a secured credit card is very similar to a regular credit card in the sense that you will be making these purchases on credit and then paying that money back at the end of a specific time period. However, many secured credit cards do require an upfront security deposit, but generally speaking this is refundable if you do make your payments on time and don't go over the credit limit. Generally speaking, these security deposits range from around $250 to a few $1,000 and are really there just as collateral in case you don't make your credit card payments. So similar to being an authorized user on a credit card, this is not only a great way for you to begin building your credit, but it's also a great way for you to learn how to responsibly use a credit card. So considering all of this, having a secured credit card is a wonderful way to begin building your credit when you're young. With that being said though, if you don't make the minimum required monthly payment or if you go over the credit limit, this can be horrible on your credit score. So after a few years of having and properly managing a secured credit card, you'll likely be ready to graduate to a full-blown regular credit card. On top of this, opening a secured credit card first instead of a regular credit card can help you to become more confident in your ability to use a credit card over a debit card. Now with that being said, I really encourage everybody who can properly manage a credit card to own and use one. And this is because many credit card companies actually offer cashback or other rewards as an incentive for using their credit card over another company's credit card. So as long as at the bare minimum you make the minimum required monthly payment on these credit cards, you will basically be getting this cashback or rewards for free for buying your groceries, gasoline, or other goods you have to purchase anyways. Now considering the fact that many young people are actually also college students, another great way for you to begin building your credit is to take out a student loan in your name. Don't get me wrong, this should only be done if you need the money for your education anyways. So if you don't need money for your education, I highly recommend that you actually do not do this and just use one of the other ways to build your credit. However, one of the benefits to actually having student loan debt is that it will help you to build your credit in the long term. Now, particularly federal student loans are especially easy to get considering almost every student can get them despite their credit history. If you do have one of these loans in your name, at the bare minimum, make the minimum required payment. And that is because it will help you to become more reliable when paying debt, which is extremely important. With all of these, it is incredibly important that you are careful and responsible. And this is because, generally speaking, if you're doing any of these things, it means you're trying to build your credit from scratch or trying to rebuild your credit. So it is important to keep in mind the fact that it is a lot easier to destroy your credit score than to build it. And this is specifically important for young people to understand, considering the fact that if you have very little credit history and then go and mess something up, it can look very bad for you. However, I guarantee if you start building your credit now, your future self will thank you. So simply pick one or two of the items that we discussed in this video and go out and do them. Now, I'm not saying you have to drop everything right now and go do all of these immediately. However, even committing to one of them could help to save you tens of thousands of dollars in the future. The average credit score of somebody in their 20s is 660, and that's because this is one of these areas that many people tend to look over because they're so busy doing other things. This meaning, if you are one of the few young people with a good credit score of 700 or above, this will give you a huge advantage over your peers in the future. If you did enjoy the video, I would really appreciate it if you would leave a like on this video and also smash that big red giant subscribe button below if you're new. We're extremely close to hitting 100 subscribers, so I would really appreciate it if you would help me meet that goal. If you did watch until the end of the video, I just want to say I really appreciate each and every one of you guys so much. Your support really does mean the world for me because I really have this channel and make these videos for you guys, so I hope to see each and every one of you guys in the next one.